Children are the future. From the moment we've taken our first steps into our first school, to the time we're watching our own children take theirs. But today we're talking about two young boys who never lived to see their future. Today, we'll be talking about Alexander, age 3, and his younger brother, Michael, age 1. Children with no future. Michael and Alex lived, for a time, with their parents, their biological mother, Susan Smith, and their stepfather, Tom Findley. They had a complicated relationship with their family, but all the same, life was good. Until their stepfather left suddenly. Allegedly, he wrote a note to Susan stating that he didn't want to marry into a ready-made family, and due to Susan's history with other men, had decided to leave. Susan was gutted, devastated. But alas, things would get worse. In October of 1994, her two children, Alex and Michael, were abducted during a carjacking incident. Susan, during an interview with NBC News, proclaimed that a man had held her at gunpoint and said that her children weren't going to be hurt before driving off with them screaming in the backseat of the car.
Please let me take them. And he said no, he didn't have time because they were in car seats and it was going to take time for me to get them out of the car seat. And he just told me, he said, but I won't hurt them. And he just took off. But he had a gun, and my big thing is they were screaming, hollering, crying, and I'm just scared that he just lost his patience.
Presumably worried that the man would lose his patience and kill both of the children in cold blood, she understandably did nothing. As the case went on, the trail became colder. There were no witnesses to the carjacking, nor were there any leads to go off aside from the one given. But on November 3rd, just 9 days after the interview, someone confessed for the murder of both boys in question. Remember Tom Findley, her ex? Well, it wasn't him. It was none other than the mother, Susan Smith. The mother of the boys had locked them in the backseat of the car and pushed the two of them to the bottom of a river. It was reported that the eldest son, Michael, was still holding his baby brother's hand when the bodies were uncovered and dragged ashore. There were some signs before, small ones, but quite large if you were paying attention. After the initial interview, she gave some others, more detailed but with a metric ton of inconsistencies. She just couldn't seem to keep her facts straight. Moreover, friends noted that her behavior was incredibly strange for a mother that should be mourning her boys. In fact, she didn't seem to be too troubled by it at all. The only thing she seemed concerned about was whether the aforementioned Findley would be paying her a visit soon. She was arrested soon after the trial, diagnosed with dependent personality disorder. Yet, curiously, was not given a life sentence. All seemed to be right in the world as Mrs. Smith was locked behind bars. Susan is currently set to be released on probation in 2024. One question still remains, though. Why would a mother kill her own children for seemingly no reason at all? For that, it's worth taking a look at her childhood. It was certainly off to a dreadful start. Her father committed suicide when she was still incredibly young, and after her stepfather abused her mercilessly, it led to her suffering from severe depression from a very early age, even attempted to end it on more than a few occasions. Her main escape seemed to be love, or as close as she could come. Yet that didn't seem to work out ever, in the way that she liked it to. David Smith, her ex-husband, could have been the most notable. He's the father of the two children. The two initially wed after the birth of their first boy. But their moments of peace wouldn't last for too long. What happened specifically is up in the air, but some speculate she, or even her children, may have been outright abused on multiple occasions. Needless to say, they parted ways. Soon after, she met Findley. He and Susan got along well for a while, but as mentioned earlier, he left for various reasons. This was obviously devastating. but due to her diagnosis of DPD, it's possibly more psychologically devastating than any other sort of emotional response. She had an addiction to company, or at least many believed she did. She wasn't often seen without a partner at her side. She was so strikingly addicted to company of others that people who knew her speculate she may have drowned her son solely to seem more available. But no answer to a riddle like this is ever easy to find. The truth we may never know, but there's one more compelling piece of information. A letter, dating from 2015, directed at the state's newspapers' Harrison Cahill, and it says, "Dear Mr. Cahill, I know it's very late in writing you, but I still wanted to let you know that I did not receive your request for information until November 20th, 2014, a month after the 20-year anniversary. Your letter was sent to the SCDC Correspondence Review Committee and was not approved until November 19th, 2014. I imagine that was done on purpose. I wanted to let you know that I would have most likely responded to your letter because I've yet been able to speak on my behalf. It has been hard to listen to lie after lie and not be able to defend myself. It's frustrating to say the least, Mr. Cahill. I am not the monster society thinks I am. I am far from it. Something went very wrong that night. I was not myself. I was a good mother, and I love my boys. The thing that hurts me the most is that people think I hurt my children in order to be with a man. That is so far from the truth. There was no motive, as it was not even a planned event. I wasn't in my right mind. The only reason I lied is because I didn't know how to tell the people who loved Michael and Alex that they would never see them again. I didn't want to hurt them. I knew the truth would come out, but I had planned to kill myself first and leave a note behind telling what happened. I didn't believe I could face my family when the truth was revealed. This is only a small piece of the story, but I did want to tell you that if you're ever interested in doing another article, please let me know. In the meantime, take care of yourself. In order for me to receive your mail quicker, put your name only on the envelope. Don't use company stationery. If you do, it'll probably go to the review committee again. Sincerely, Susan. We'll leave it up to you. What do you think her motivations were? Did this letter convince you, or did it make you look at things from a different perspective? Tell us in the comment section below. We are happy to hear your speculation. If you're a parent, keep your children safe. And if you're currently or ever have been suffering from mental unease, please go to a loved one to talk about it. Otherwise, we advise you to seek professional help. Until next time.